forecast first. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Well, we'd like to say we're looking forward to the start of 2021, but it is getting active around here. Lots of winter weather alerts across the region. We have ice storm warnings, winter weather advisories. A fairly high-impact winter weather event begins late tonight into tomorrow. We start off with some freezing rain, maybe a little wintry mix in there, but the concern is that all of this freezing rain coming late tonight through the first half of tomorrow will bring some impacts to travel, potentially power outages and tree damage as well. The higher odds for impactful events will be along and north of I-72, especially on the Illinois 54 corridor. Then tomorrow night, we may get a chance for a little dusting of some snow, primarily along the I-57, the Illinois 54 corridor, and that snow could add some more misery to things here as this active weather sets on in. That first round of snow, not the only one. Another one may follow 24 hours after that. We're going to break it down and talk about this winter weather heading our way during the show. WCIA 3 News at 6 starts right now.
Now on WCIA 3 News.
Some neighbors could be generous enough to lend you a cup of sugar, but others will help you get out of a burning building. And a county gave the green light for indoor dining to bars and restaurants, but where does the mayor stand on the issue? And they said goodbye for 7 long months, but now some soldiers are happy to hear welcome home.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 6.
Still a good thing, you know, just to know that if something serious were to happen, someone would be there.
And in this case, they were. A woman and her dogs are okay tonight after a fire broke out in her apartment complex. Good evening, I'm Mark Maxwell. Paul and Jennifer are off tonight on this New Year's Eve. She's thanking her neighbor tonight for making sure that she and her pets got out safely. WCIA 3's Courtney Bunting joins us from the newsroom to explain exactly what happened. Courtney, a close call there.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. A fire started in the bottom floor of this woman's boyfriend's apartment complex in Urbana. Adriana Davey was just there with her 2 dogs. Her boyfriend wasn't there at the time. She didn't realize anything was happening until she got a knock on her door.
It's just kind of like a sigh of relief, honestly.
And that may be putting it mildly. Adriana Davey is always grateful to have her dogs at her side, but now she's hugging them a little closer after a fire started on the bottom floor of her apartment building. It happened Tuesday night around 8.
And all of a sudden, my neighbor who stays across the hall from me, he started banging on the door. And I asked him what happened. He said the building was smoking up and that was on fire.
Andrew Grady lives across the hall.
I was looking out the window. I saw smoke coming up. I go out the door to see if there's the fire trucks on the other side of the building. I saw open the door and all the smoke just gushed down our hallway.
Well, it was all filled with smoke on the first and second floor.
Grady realized Davey would need help.
He grabbed Bruce and I grabbed Zena and we just ran out the building together.
Davey says she's grateful he was there because from her vantage point, she didn't see the smoke and didn't hear an alarm.
I would have been completely oblivious and we could have gotten stuck or something like that. Probably had to come out the windows.
Grady says when he saw the smoke, he didn't hesitate to check if Davey needed help getting to safety.
Because she's got dogs. Dogs are like children. I don't care what anybody says. I've had dogs my whole life, so I know how it is.
Me and my boyfriend were still trying to figure out like ways to just kind of like say thank you. So yeah, he joked around and said, we'll have to buy that man a case of beer.
No one was hurt in that fire. Davey told me she's happy to know she has a neighbor who looks out for her, even though in this case the fire itself never spread to the 3rd floor where her apartment was. Live in the newsroom, Courtney Bunting, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Glad everyone's okay. Courtney, thank you. The landlord of that complex says some of the apartments did take some damage, but the people living there were able to move out to other units. They said the fire was started on accident. We reached out to the fire department to see what they said. They don't have their investigation complete yet. An urgent plea from a grieving father tonight. Don't drive drunk. Stephen Brannon lost his 23-year-old son Tristan in a Piatt County car crash yesterday. State police say 34-year-old Justin Slade from Urbana was drunk when he crossed the center line and hit the Weldon native head-on. He was traveling east on Illinois Route 10 as 23-year-old Tristan Brannon was traveling west. Brannon's car caught fire in the ditch after the crash and he died there. Slade went to the hospital and got a ticket for driving under the influence. Brannon's grieving father describes his son as sweet, kind, goofy, and funny, someone who loved to cheer people up. Illinois State Police is reminding everyone, especially during the holidays, but at all times, be responsible while driving, and throughout the year, never drive under the influence.
tragedies are unnecessary, and if the worst case scenario does not occur, a night in jail over New Year's Eve is also no fun and avoidable.
Brandon's father says he hopes that people will think about what it feels like to lose a child before you make that choice that could cost someone their life. A mother in Sydney is asking drivers to be extra careful in the very same place where her daughter was killed 2 years ago. Savannah Day was killed when a train struck her car on Homer Lake Road just south of Sydney. Day's mother, Gloria, says there should be crossing arms added soon. The state told her they plan to do that by August, but in the meantime, she wants drivers to be more aware.
They just got to be cautious, look, slow down, pay attention. I know we get busy and, with our cars, and it only takes a second to look away, and that's it.
Day feels her daughter just didn't see the train coming. It was around 6 o'clock at night in early October. The sun was starting to set. She thinks that could have made it hard for her to see where she was going. Springfield police need your help tracking down a suspect in a Christmas Eve armed robbery. They say a cab picked up a man on Saratoga Drive between Concord and Cumberland, then drove him to Pope just south of the Holly Drive intersection. Then police say the man cocked a gun and demanded the cab driver's money before running away. He was wearing a red skull cap, black jacket, and had short hair. They think he's around 19 or 20 years old. If you have any contact information, you can get in touch with Sangamon and Menard County Crime Stoppers. New at 6, the Shelby County Sheriff's Office is warning about a new phone scam. They say the caller claims to be an agent for Publishers Clearinghouse and tells you you've won a grand prize, but you have to pay a $250 fee to cover the taxes for it. Publishers Clearinghouse website says winners of over $500 get a certified letter or someone will come to knock on your door. And a general rule of thumb, anytime someone you don't know calls and asks for your banking or routing information, don't give it to them. With ice and some snow heading our way, state police have a few reminders for drivers. They say if you see a stuck or crashed vehicle on the side of the road, especially if it has that orange tape on it, don't call state police. That tape means they've already been there, they've checked the vehicle. Also, if you see other vehicles on the side of the shoulder, slow down and move over. One county gave the green light to restaurants and bars for limited indoor dining, but will the mayor of the area's largest city stand in the way? Also tonight, it's been a long trip for a group of soldiers where they came back home from. All right, Jacob Dickey with a look at the weather.
Yeah, we've been watching this winter weather event. Of course, travel is the big thing we're talking about. The state police, of course, sharing those tips. One thing we're concerned about is the winds as we move forward. By tomorrow morning, we may have some wind gusts of 25 to 35 miles an hour. Any ice that's formed on trees and power lines may become damaged by that. We're going to talk more about the impacts, take a look at future track, and let you know when some milder weather is on the way coming up after this.